You've probably looked around at the people closest to you and felt something you couldn't quite explain, like you're capable of more than your current life suggests, like something invisible is keeping you exactly where you are. Most people blame themselves when that happens. They assume it's a discipline problem, a motivation problem, a mindset problem. It's not. In 2010, neuroscientist Yuri Hassan at Princeton University put two strangers in separate brain scanners, one speaking, one listening, and found something that changed how we understand human influence forever. The listener's brain didn't just process what was being said. It began to physically mirror the speaker's brain, pattern by pattern, region by region, in real time. Modern psychology has since spent decades proving exactly what that means for your daily life, and the answer is more uncomfortable than most people are prepared to hear. Think about what happens when you strike a tuning fork near another one. The second fork starts vibrating at exactly the same frequency, without being touched, just from being close enough to the first one. Your brain does something remarkably similar with the people you spend time with, and unlike tuning forks, you don't feel it happening. Uri Hassan's research at Princeton showed that when two people communicate consistently, the listener's brain doesn't just receive information, it begins to synchronize with the speaker's brain at a neurological level. The thought patterns, emotional responses, and even the way the listener processes future situations start to mirror whoever they spend the most time with. This isn't a metaphor. This is measured brain activity. Picture trying to swim upstream in a fast-moving river. You can be strong, disciplined. You can have perfect technique. But if the current is powerful enough, technique doesn't matter. The river decides where you end up. Most people trying to change their lives are strong swimmers in the wrong river. Stanford psychologist Albert Bandura spent decades studying how people learn and change. What he found was that people don't adopt the behaviors and beliefs of those around them through dramatic pressure or confrontation. It happens slowly, quietly, through the gradual accumulation of what starts to feel normal. When the people around you treat ambition like a joke, eventually you stop feeling ambitious without understanding why. When the people around you treat a certain level of achievement as the ceiling, your brain accepts that ceiling as natural. Not because you decided to, because that's what being in that current for long enough does to anyone. This is why two people with identical talent and identical starting points can end up in completely different places within 5 years, purely based on the social current they were swimming in. You don't rise to your potential, you drift to your environment. A plant has no say in what soil it's placed in. Whatever it's given, that's what it grows from. It has no other option. You are not a plant. You are one of the only things in nature that can look at the soil it's growing in, recognize it's wrong, and make a deliberate decision to move. Psychologist David McClelland at Harvard University spent decades studying high achievers and found something most people never hear about. The single most determining factor in a person's long-term success or failure wasn't talent. It wasn't intelligence. It wasn't discipline or hard work. It was who they habitually spent time with. McClelland called it the reference group, the circle of people whose beliefs, behaviors, and standards your brain quietly uses as its definition of normal. The most deliberate decision any high achiever consistently makes isn't about strategy or morning routines. It's about who gets access to their time. Jim Rohn, who spent decades studying exactly this pattern, put it in one sentence. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. This doesn't mean walking away from everyone you know. It means being honest, genuinely honest, about which relationships are pulling you toward the person you're trying to become, and which ones are quietly making that person feel unrealistic. That's not a dramatic life overhaul. It's a Tuesday decision. Who do you spend your Tuesdays with? Uri Hassan at Princeton called it neural coupling. Albert Bandura at Stanford called it social learning. David McClelland at Harvard called it the reference group effect. 3 researchers, 3 universities, 3 different decades of work, all pointing at the same thing. The people around you right now are not just company. They are the environment your brain is calibrating itself to, quietly, constantly, without your permission. The question has never been whether your environment is shaping you. It already is. The only question is whether you chose it deliberately,